Trooper James Jim Grayson had a sterling reputation. For nearly 20 years, he served with the Massachusetts State Police, earning accolades for his leadership and his ability to handle the toughest cases with precision. But beneath the polished exterior lay a man who carried the weight of secrets. Secrets that would unravel not only his career, but the lives of those around him. His marriage to Laura, a dedicated high school English teacher, had been crumbling for years. What started as a love story built on mutual respect had become a strained partnership. Laura grew weary of Jim's emotional distance and his constant excuses for late nights. Jim, on the other hand, felt trapped in a life that no longer brought him joy, longing for an escape. That escape came in the form of Rachel Moore, a vibrant 28-year-old rookie trooper assigned to Jim for field training. Rachel was ambitious and eager to prove herself, and she admired Jim's calm confidence and years of experience. What started as professional respect soon turned into late-night conversations, stolen moments, and eventually a dangerous affair. Rachel became Jim's outlet, a spark that reignited a passion he hadn't felt in years. Unbeknownst to the pair, their relationship didn't go unnoticed. Jim's longtime partner, Trooper Mike Harrison, had worked alongside him for over a decade and could read Jim like a book. Mike saw the lingering glances, the subtle shifts in Jim's behavior, and the tension in Rachel's presence. He confronted Jim one night after a patrol, accusing him of crossing a line that could ruin them both. Jim denied it, but Mike's suspicions lingered. The presence of Rachel's eyes made him see the truth. Rachel's roommate, Allison Ali Perez, a sharp-witted journalist, was also growing suspicious. Ali had always been protective of Rachel, and she couldn't ignore the late-night phone calls and the cryptic texts her friend received. Ali's curiosity turned into quiet investigation, and she began piecing together clues about Rachel's secret relationship. Laura, too, wasn't blind to the changes in her husband. Jim had become more withdrawn, and his excuses for being late rang hollow. Suspecting infidelity, she confided in her sister Megan, who encouraged her to hire a private investigator. Gina Carver, a former detective turned PI, took the case with gusto, quickly uncovering troubling patterns in Jim's behavior. At work, whispers about Jim and Rachel reached Captain Angela Martinez, the commanding officer of their unit. Martinez had little tolerance for impropriety within her ranks and quietly assigned Detective Carl Hastings to look into the rumors. Hastings, known for his meticulous attention to detail, began observing Jim and Rachel, collecting evidence to confirm or dispel the allegations. The tipping point came during a routine patrol. Jim and Mike were tasked with monitoring a suspected drug deal at an abandoned warehouse. The night was tense, the suspects volatile. But instead of focusing on the operation, Jim and Mike's simmering tensions boiled over. Mike confronted Jim again, this time accusing him of jeopardizing not just his career, but the lives of everyone around him. The argument escalated quickly, with Jim losing control. In a moment of blind rage, he pushed Mike down a flight of stairs. The sickening crack of Mike's skull against the concrete echoed in the empty building. Jim froze, realizing the enormity of what had just happened. In a panic, he staged a scene to make it appear as though a suspect had attacked Mike. He called Rachel, desperate for help, and together they covered up the truth. Rachel, though horrified, felt she had no choice but to comply. She was in too deep. The death of Mike Harrison rocked the department. His funeral was a solemn event, attended by officers from across the state. But Detective Hastings wasn't convinced by Jim's account of what had happened that night. The forensic evidence didn't align with Jim's story, and Hastings began digging deeper. Meanwhile, Ali Perez, armed with her suspicions about Rachel, reached out to Derek Leland, a controversial investigative blogger known for exposing scandals. Intrigued by the story, began his own investigation. The walls began closing in on Jim and Rachel. Hastings discovered inconsistencies in Jim's timeline and found surveillance footage from a nearby traffic camera that showed Rachel entering the warehouse the night of Mike's death. Ali and Derek uncovered proof of Jim and Rachel's affair, including incriminating texts and photos. When Derek published his findings, the fallout was immediate. Jim's carefully constructed life crumbled. Laura, devastated by the betrayal, filed for divorce and moved out of state with their 2 children. Captain Martinez, furious at the scandal tarnishing her department, suspended Jim and Rachel pending an internal investigation. Gina Carver, the private investigator, provided additional evidence that bolstered the case against Jim. The final blow came when Rachel, under pressure from Hastings and fearing legal repercussions, confessed everything. She admitted to the affair and detailed how Jim had killed Mike and coerced her into helping cover it up. Armed with her testimony and the physical evidence, Hastings arrested Jim, charging him with murder, obstruction of justice, and misconduct. The trial was a media circus. Prosecutor Samantha Delgado painted Jim as a man who let his ambition and desires consume him, leading to the betrayal of his badge and the murder of his best friend. Jim's defense attorney, Marcus Lang, argued that the death had been an accident, a tragic mistake fueled by years of pent-up frustration. The jury deliberated for 2 days before convicting Jim of second-degree murder. Jim was sentenced to 25 years in prison, his once promising career reduced to a cautionary tale. Rachel, though spared jail time in exchange for her cooperation, became a pariah in the law enforcement community. She moved to a small town in the Midwest, seeking anonymity and a chance to start over. Laura and her children struggled to rebuild their lives, haunted by the public nature of Jim's downfall. Detective Hastings, hailed as a hero for his relentless pursuit of the truth, remained haunted by the case. Captain Martinez implemented sweeping reforms to restore the department's integrity, but the scars of the scandal lingered. Derek Leland's blog gained national attention, though his aggressive tactics were widely criticized. Ali Perez, despite facing backlash for exposing Rachel, used the story to launch a successful investigative journalism career. The tragedy left a lasting mark on everyone involved, a chilling reminder of how ambition, betrayal, and desperation can destroy lives. Jim Grayson, once a celebrated trooper, now sat alone in a prison cell, a man whose choices had unraveled everything he once held dear. Man, this case is just wild. It's one of those stories that leaves you speechless, right? A decorated officer, a forbidden affair, and a moment of rage that destroyed so many lives. It's almost too much to wrap your head around. Stuff like this really makes you wonder how thin the line is between the life we build and the secrets that can tear it all down. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments, because honestly, I'm still trying to process it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. The names, the details, and the sentences of this case are not real. These made-up scenarios allow us to explore suspenseful situations without exploiting real-life tragedies. Our goal is to create thought-provoking mysteries while respecting the privacy and dignity of real people. Thank you for watching, and let us know your thoughts below.